What's good, my lovely peoples? It's your humble servant, Solace. Grasp this. You had two groups of black people. You had the natives of this land that we are on. They were black people. You had the Africans that came here with the slave owners. They were black people also. Now, we all heard that, oh, but they the same people. Whatever. I'm sure the people that predated them, I'm sure they came from a common ancestor. But at that point, when slavery was brought to these lands, you had two groups of black people. They were separate, different people. They viewed each other as separate and different. So we must grasp that. If they come from the same ancestors, cool. But they were different people at that point, the same way me and a Puerto Rican is different. We derive from the same ancestor, which would be the natives of this land. But through the mixing and mingling, we are not the same. So we must grasp this. Now, you have two different sets of black people. The natives of this land and the Africans that came with the slave masters. Now, the Africans that came with the slave masters, for some reason, this group of blacks were easy to be enslaved. You could die or be a slave. No brainer. But for some reason, they were able to be enslaved and brought from where they lived and didn't even kill themselves. So it's a deep concept. Yes, some revolted and etc., etc. But in a whole, they were brought here, didn't like, this shit is crazy. Now, on the other hand, you had another group of people, which were the native blacks of this land. Now, for some reason, these black people just would not cooperate. They could not be enslaved. They'd rather die and keep fighting forever for some reason. So now you must grasp that. This is a truth that you can see today. Africans today, they love to work. They look at us as lazy. Look at us. We do not cooperate with this system. We keep getting locked up. We keep being disrespectful to law enforcement. So y'all have to start grasping who you come from. You come from the people of this land. This is why you're unruly, fucking lazy, and all the other dumb shit they say about you, they said about the people of this land. They said they were retarded because they wouldn't be slaves. But this is what they said. Oh, it's something wrong with them. They won't cooperate for some reason. We tricked them, we gave them polio, we did everything. They just won't stop attacking. And this is the people you come from, and you can see it in your nature now. The Africans are the same way. They're submissive for some reason. They will just let these white people rule them. You see, when white people come around, Africans get the kissing ass. You see it. Then you see the black people. This is why they call us niggas and shit. Because we don't go along with the system. Now, some of us are lost, and we look at our lost, our supposed lost, the ones that got their pants sagging and selling dope and just not going with the system. Some of us are lost, and we look at them as if they have the problem. And this is how the slave masters looked at the natives of this land. Like it was something wrong with them. But it wasn't nothing wrong with them. It is something wrong with y'all. Y'all think y'all gonna change the system by being a part of it. By working your ways in it. And then you can't change the system by being a part of it. It don't work like that. If you believe that your ancestors are the Africans, well then you need to start being real with yourself and realize that your ancestors were pussy. and they let themselves be enslaved. And this is the reason why you are a slave now. Grasp that. Why you pretend to yourself, and we always reaching for the ancestors and talking ancestor talk. Well, when we gonna talk real talk and the reason why you are a slave, living in this wild out system? See, I don't reach for them because they are not my ancestors. They don't even look at me as one of theirs now. So what would make me think they looked at me as one of theirs then when they weren't even together? The people of this land and the Africans wasn't together then. So I know they didn't look at each other as the same people then. They here now and don't even look at us as the same people. So you can reach for what you want. Now, I don't have no problem with African people. They're like cousins in race talk to me. But I look at it for what it is. You are my family. But the pussy part, you just let motherfuckers just... You the reason this shit's fucked up. Like, you let them do that, and then that shit spreading all over the world. This is what's happening in Iraq now. They trying to put their system on the motherfuckers. And you are witnessing it right now in your day and time, what happened to the natives of this land. They was slaughtering motherfuckers trying to force their system on them. And the natives was not going with it. They were rebellious. And if you look in today's times, the only people on this turf that is rebellious are those that they call black people, are niggas. And the reason for that is because you are the natives of this land. Your spirit is the same as those people from this land. And this is why you just can't get with it. I don't care how hard you try. You're not never going to feel comfortable going to work. This is why all motherfuckers that's black got aspirations to be some entertainer or some rich type motherfucker, because motherfuckers just can't be content with just going to work. So you got to know where your spirit come from. You got to know who your true ancestors is. You got to start observing. Now, if you still feel like, no, well, I think my ancestors is the Africans, and you feel like you want to reach back, well, just realize you skipped mad motherfuckers when you did that. But if you deal directly with the slavery and why you're a slave now, and you feel like the Africans is your ancestors, well, then you need to deal with that truth. What was so pussy about them where they let them do that? Because in them letting them do that is how the people here got enslaved. Because they used their slaves to enslave the natives of this land. So you gotta grasp how deep this is. We reaching for the wrong things. We have no understanding. If you want to stop the slavery we live now, then you gotta stop. That's how simple it is. You gotta stop. Everybody gotta be responsible for their individual self and stop. We can't wait around for the next man to say, oh, I'm quitting my job, and because that ain't never gonna happen. Everybody gotta take responsibility for themselves and they offspring and say, I'm not going to work no more for them. And whatever comes of it, but I'm acquiring me